Hello everybody, today our group show you a presentation about movement Alash, social and political activity of the national intelligentsia. The Alash party is a social political national liberation movement that united the Kazakh and Kyrgyz intelligentsia. Created in 1917 by the journalist and publicist Alikhan Bukikhanov, the linguist, poet and translator Ahmet Beytursunov, and the writer Mrjah Abdullatov. Joining the Cadets Party in ideology. The party chairman is Alikhan Bukikhan of Alash movement social political activities of the national intelligentsia. This tells us about the affairs of the party in the development of state in the role of politicians and social activities, thus showing that this party converted many aspects of the life of the country and contributed to what we have and who we are now. The official organ of the party is the Kazakh newspaper. In our presentation, we will tell you about the work of the party in several aspects of the state, the religion affairs of the party, the territorial problems of autonomy, the publicistic and journalistic activity of the party, the newspaper publications, the land problem. Creation of Alash autonomy. Kazakh, tired of the almost a century of Russian colonization, start to rise up. In 1817 to 18th, schools in Kazakhstan massively start to open, which developed Kazakh elite, future members of Alash party. In 1916, after conscription of Muslim into the military of forced service in Eastern Front during World War I, Kazakh and Kyrgyz rose up against Russian government. The state was proclaimed during the Second All-Kazakh Congress held at Orenburg from 5 to 13 December in 1917 year, with the provisional government being established under the oversight of Alikhan Bukikhanov. However, the nation's purported territory was still under the de facto control of the region's Russian appointed governor. Following its proclamation in December 1917, Alash leaders established the Alash Orda and Kazakh government, which was aligned with White Army for against the Bolsheviks in Russian Civil War. In 1919, when the White forces were losing, the Alash autonomous government began negotiations with the Bolsheviks. By 1920, the Bolsheviks had defeated the White Russian forces in the region and occupied Kazakhstan. On the 17th August 1920, the Soviet government established Kyrgyz Autonomy Soviet Socialization Republic and finally the Kazakh Soviet Republic in 1936. Almost all intelligentsia were repressed by the contribution to the future of Kazakh people invaluable. Members Alikhan Bukikhanov, Beytursunov, Mrjah Abdullatov, Gumarov, Turmakhambetov, Birimjanov.
Beginning of the last century, most of Kazakhstan territory became the property of Russian state. The number of immigrants increased, and the native population was forcibly expelled from the inhabited areas. This became the main goal of the creation of Alash, the fight against the policy of Tsarism. In July 1917, the first All-Kazakh Congress was held in Orenburg. The main decision of the Congress was to defend the rights of Kazakhs to territorial and national autonomy as part of the democratic, parliamentary, and federal Russian Republic. One of the requirements from the Alash party was the land issue. The Russian Empire took away from Kazakhs exactly suitable lands for agriculture. This was done in order to change the Kazakh nomadic lifestyle to a non-movable one. In July-August 1917, the first All-Kazakh Kurultay was convened, and the Alash party entered the stage of history. The national position of Alash party was based on 5 different conclusions, and 2 of them was about the land.
So the next problem is gonna be about how Alash participants dealt with the religion issue, religious political problems and people. The participants in this discussion are entire party of the Alash movement, in particular Ahmet Batursunulu. The reasons for this problem are the dissatisfaction of the people about how the state carelessly treats the topic of religion and tries to promote its faith instead of honoring culture and traditions. Also, this case caused a loud statement in the well-known popular newspaper read by the people that it's time to solve this situation and lie to the former relevance and the word of Islamic State, which resulted in new programs and disciplines and changes in the rules regarding religion. This gave the people freedom of choice, freedom of religion, freedom of choice in the way they live, but not completely. Analyzing the above statements, we can assume that the party at the time had a certain popularity among the people and influence in politics because many of the demands of the people were still heard and fulfilled.
Alash publicism and journalistic. Journalism allows us to consider the impact of the press on the formation of national independence, showing the origin of the Kazakh press as independent cultural and national phenomenon, not as a part of Soviet mass media. In 1913, under the guidance of Bukikhanov and Batursunov with the support of Mazhekov Dolatov, and the all-national official newspaper Kazakh began to be published in Orenburg. In his first issue, he defined Batursunov newspaper as "It's the people's back, complaints, speaks the people's word, defends their interests, reads their complaints, and tries not to scare the crowd's eyes. It is a clarification of the political significance." The project of the program of the Alash party was published in the November 21, 1970 issue of Kazakh newspaper. Kazakh newspaper fulfilled all the functions of professional journalism and included the following characteristics, even if his view is not the same as that of the authorities publishing: striving for independence from the state, individual moneybags, attract exceptionally talented authors with relevant knowledge, organization of successful work, literacy of editing newspaper text. Democrat educators Bukikhanov, Batursunov, Shokai searched for ways of developing the Kazakh society and led the work of the Muslim faction in the State Duma. On their initiative, the Aykap magazine, Birlik Tuğ, Sararka, Akjol newspapers appeared. These publications carried out the great propaganda and education work on their pages. The main goal of the Alash movement was self-government of the Kazakh people, obtaining the right of the people to form an independent state, and limiting migration from the internal regions of Russia to the Kazakh land. To work down in the field of journalism of the Alash movement became the basis of Kazakh writing, and during this year of being colony helped to influence the consciousness of the people. On the other hand, its impact on society was weak due to the population illiteracy. To conclude, representatives of Alash movement advocate the preservation of traditional animal husbandry, the development of agriculture, industry, and trade relations.
So the next problem is gonna be about creation of the Alash Orda led to the unification of the Kazakh people. Representatives of the Alash intelligence Bukikhanov, Batursunov, Tulatov, Birjanov, Shokay, Akpayev, Nashpayev, Ermekov. The idea of Alash led to the concept of nationalist unification. Unity of the Kazakh intelligence educated in political center who knows the subtleties of the state building. Thanks to thousands of Kazakh heads united within framework of the idea of Alash. Mukhtar Kul Muhammad in his work The Evolution of the Political and the Legal Views of the Alash features noted the first quarter of the 20th century in the history Kazakhstan science is a variable Russia can be called a period of the political struggle and the spectral reveal. In conclusion, we want to say that many of the actions of the Alash party gave a big shift in the development of political and social development of our history. As mentioned above, the Alash movement covered all aspects of life at the time, and our historical ancestors. This made it possible for us to develop ourselves and move on, get new opportunities, and find faith
in ourselves and faith in political leaders.